What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new reaction, and today we're watching 7 British things we don't have in America. There's a lot of stuff that when we just went over here, we went across the pond and went to do our own little thing, we just didn't bring with us. The one thing that makes me the most angry that we don't have here in America that's British is Mars bars. Dude, I just ate a Mars bar that one of y'all sent us in the P.O. box yesterday, and dude, it reminded me of how freaking good they are. That's just one small thing. I'm sure there's a lot of big stuff and even smaller stuff that y'all use probably every day just in your normal lives that just is unheard of over here in America. So we're about to get into it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, drop a like for more reactions like this. Also, we just uploaded probably our favorite video we have ever made over on Anna and JT. It took an entire weekend to film. I've spent the last 3 days editing. We are super proud of it. We had a lot of fun doing it. It's something different we've never done before, so y'all please go check it out. Over on Anna and JT, the link's down in the description. We actually love this video so much, and we think y'all are going to really enjoy it. Other than that, let's get into it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of... Oh, how embarrassing. Sorry, just a bit of force of habit there. America, land of the free, home of the endless aisles in the grocery store. But despite sometimes feeling like...
Facts. And also, why is this video, like, clearer than my actual eyes? Like, why am I watching this video in 8K right now?
Like they've got it all, there are many things that actually manage to elude most Americans. After moving to the UK 11 years ago, it took me some time to pick up on the lingo here. Sometimes it'd be something we already have a word for in American English that I'd have to learn, like, oh, when they say rocket, they don't mean a spaceship, they mean a plane. Arugula. But there exists a certain class of item that is so ubiquitous within the UK, and yet very much not a thing in the States. These are things that it took me a really long time to wrap my head around as an American, because, well, listen, everyone knows it here, they learn this stuff since childhood, and here I am, a grown adult, and it leaves me asking, what's a toilet brush? Well, this might blow your mind as a Brit.
Excuse me? Sir, you don't know what a toilet brush is? I would hate to see your toilets. Oh goodness.
What do you mean you don't have toilet brushes in the States? I've seen what you eat. First off, rude. Secondly, true. But in America, we always have a plunger next to the toilet in case there's a clog. It's rare, but that's it. Toilets in America are much deeper and have much more water than British toilets do.
What? No, we keep a plunger and a toilet brush. So that way, if you do get a clog, you can get that thing down in there. You know, you drop a super dookie or something, you can get it pushed through the pipes. And then also, the skid marks. You know, it leaves a trace, okay? So you gotta keep a brush next to there too so you can clean it up. You didn't have, what?
Not only that, but from my experience, American toilets are just so much stronger than British ones. If you've ever been to America, I'm fairly certain you can attest to that. I found it odd that during a road trip in California I went on in 2022 with some British friends, my friend Luke comes out of the bathroom saying, "Why do you Americans fill your toilet bowls up with so much water? It's so full it wet my willy." Wow, I thought he was just trying to brag about the size of his peen, but
Hold on. Yeah, a lot of our toilets usually do have a lot of water in them. Also, our toilets do flush so aggressively. Like, I've had some toilets, I thought the whole bowl was gonna get sucked into the floor. Like, it's aggressive.
No, it turns out this is a thing. Now, I'd say the idea of needing to brush away poo with a toilet brush is inevitably going to gross out a lot of Americans that have never heard of this before because, to be honest, it is pretty gross. But the most embarrassing thing about all of this is living with other British people, being a full-grown adult, and having them go, "Why has no one ever taught you how to use a toilet brush before?" And you have to be like, "I didn't even know that's what that thing was."
I don't know where he's from. I don't know what he did in his household, but we've always had a toilet brush. Okay, we clean our toilets at least once a week. That includes the outside, and then they use the toilet brush to scrub the inside. I've never heard somebody not know what a toilet brush is, so.
I was in the corner. I didn't know what that was for. I thought maybe you use it like when you clean the bathroom, maybe every 2-3 weeks when you do a big clean of the house. Fair, that's what you'd use it for. Not after every individual poo, but it's just...
Oh, I mean, yeah, that... I wouldn't do that. You don't usually use it after every use, you know? But I mean, you could, yeah.
Listen. I'm not used to having issues where a toilet leaves stains because American toilets don't do that. So yeah, it might be a little embarrassing, but you know, you live, you learn. Now I've got a really nice little toilet brush that tucks itself away whenever you're finished using it. So it's hidden, it's small, I like it. I think it looks better.
Okay, I understand now. The British toilets don't have as much water in the actual bowl as American toilets do. So there's more stainage, there's more traces, okay? So yeah, I could see where you'd have to use that after every use. But not having one at all, that's weird.
If you're interested in mine, I'll put it in the description. But that being said, I would easily trade out this terrible British toilet, every British toilet I've ever had, for an American one if I could. Or, oh my God, the luxury, the Japanese toilet. But one can dream, maybe if I ever own 100% of a house rather than just 25% of one, so. But as you probably know, I live in a flat, and the developer is definitely not going to let me swap out the toilet, so. Toilet humor. Now, number 2, if you're someone with a uterus, it will cause you some pain, at least once a month. One thing I found odd living with so many different women in the UK is during that special time of the month, they always request one thing, a hot water bottle, or a hot water bottle. Imagine my confusion the first time someone asked me for that. Like, oh, Evan, do you mind picking me up a hot water bottle when you're out? Come again? Where do I get one of those? Greg's? Like, yeah, can I get a sausage roll, a yum yum, and where do you guys keep your hot water bottles? I didn't know. Jokes aside, it turns out a hot water bottle is a bottle of water heated up and placed in a soft fabric. They're usually sold as a whole item. It's not like you just...
So a heating pad. Yeah, yeah. A lot of women will use those over here, but like usually it's electric, so you don't have to like put the hot water in it. Unless you have like an old school style one, then yeah, you put hot water in it and they can put it wherever. It's also not just used for, you know, that time of the month. Anybody can use them. Yeah, it's not as common over here. Usually they'll just use like the electric one, but I have seen them before.
Put a water bottle in fabric. I guess you could, but some people like to place them on their stomachs during cramps, and others like to heat theirs up before putting it under the covers with them to keep them warm. Now, I personally would prefer just buying a higher tog duvet for those winter months, but that's just me. I don't get menstrual cramps, so that is my privilege. Now, you might be wondering, well, what the hell do Americans use to deal with cramps? You've seen the adverts, right? Drugs, lots of drugs. But no, I asked my American audience on Instagram what they use, and I got responses like hot rice. Hot rice? I get that's roughly the same
I've never heard of that.
thing, you know, kind of malleable, but I can't imagine just going into P.F. Chang's and being like, I've got some cramps, give me that hot rice. And then you get different cramps. But no, it's basically the same thing. Instead of hot water bottles, it's like a bag of rice that's heated up and it's malleable just like water. So I guess that makes sense. Now, I asked a few of my girlfriends across the pond as well as those in the UK, and my British friends pretty much unanimously did say they use a hot water bottle. Some of them said they just take a hot bath, whereas my American friends did say they either take rice, a drug called My Doll, or they use an electric heating pad, which is very similar to a hot water bottle, but you plug it in, charges it. It's more of the future, though way less energy efficient. But then again, that depends on how you're heating your water in your hot water bottle, because as a related item that is really rare in the States that may make you nod your head and go, ah, that makes sense. Americans don't really have electric kettles, so it's not really as convenient to quickly boil some water.
We do. Thanks to y'all, we've had so many people send us electric kettles, and it is life-changing. That is low-key the one thing all Americans should adopt. I'll be honest, I was that dude growing up. You know, I was trying to make some ramen noodles or something. I would put a bowl of water in the microwave to heat up the water. Yeah, I know, I'm ashamed. It's bad. But the electric kettle, life-changing. It is so life-changing.
To put in your hot water bottle. I made an entire video about this way, America's lack of electric kettles already, and the reasons, so I'll link that above. Now, Britain is a really, really rainy isle, and pretty much every Brit I've met from as young as 8 to as old as 90 owns a pair of wellies, the cute word for Wellington boots, which are quite rare in the US. Being in Britain, you're just expected to...
That depends on where you live. We have about 6 pairs of them right now because we're out here in the country and it gets muddy around here, so we need them pretty much every day. Over here, they're usually called like rain boots or mud boots. So yeah, I can see where like some parts of the US, they never have them. But around here, we wear them all the time.
To know what a wellie is, and when you're invited to go to a festival, you're told everyone there will be in wellies, but, well, I've never owned a pair. They're mostly used here for country walks, which is one of the biggest British pastimes. We do have rain boots in the States, but the style of long rubber tube that's so much in Britain isn't really as big a thing. They do exist, just not as big. Now, growing up in New Jersey, I think myself and many Americans owned a pair of duck boots from LL Bean. They're also where I get like my flannels from, like this one. They're kind of like the Americana outdoorsy brand version of John Lewis, if that makes sense.
They're also extremely expensive, like ridiculously expensive.
Duck boots are like peak rainwear men's fashion in America. Though, if you've never seen them before today, I'd love to hear what you think of them, because I feel like some people probably hate the way they look, but I don't know.
But I'll show you something even better, all right? So these right here, these are a pair of Anna's wellies, or rain boots, or mud boots, whatever you want to call them. They're definitely not as tall as like some of the ones he showed in this video. You can definitely get them taller. These are just the ones Anna has, and they are super muddy because we use our boots. But this is usually what I wear. He was talking about the duck boots from LL Bean. They're like only halfway waterproof. These are called deck boots. They are completely waterproof, all the way up to the ankles. These are actually from High C. This is one of the sponsors over on JT Outdoors. You want to get a pair of these for yourself, go to highc.com and use this code, save you some money. These are usually what I wear if we're going like somewhere it's super muddy or super rainy. I will put a pair of like my wellies on. There's a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different variations, but they're pretty common, at least around here. I do remember in like my freshman year of high school, those duck boots were like the thing all the girls were wearing. If you didn't have a pair, you were lame. Like every single girl in my school had a pair of those boots.
I think they look good for rain boots. They're rain boots, and they kind of give that nice outdoorsy vibe. But I mean, they're a little pricier than wellies. And wellies are a much cuter name, I'll give you that. Brits always have a much cuter name. And also from what I've heard, putting on a pair of British rain boots is well easy. So there's your bad pun. But
I will never call, you know what? Forget everything I said about mud boots or rain boots. They're wellies for now on, because that is a fire name.
But speaking of squash, it does exist in the States. But you know, it's just a vegetable. We have some butternut squash, different types of squash, or a fruit, I guess. I mean, if you want to be pedantic, squash is technically a fruit. But squash in the UK only refers to 3 nouns. One is the same vegetable we have in the States, and the other 2 are similar enough, but also comically different if you come from a different country like I do. At this point, I'd lived in the UK for over a year or so I was staying over at a friend's house, and it turns out they had squash. I had heard Brits really love squash, so I poured myself a glass, and good Lord, did I wince? You know, Brits always love bullying Americans for how
Wait, it's a drink? I thought he was about to eat a piece of squash.
Sugary their food and their drink is, but Jesus, that cup of squash was so much like liquid sugar. Like, it was both thin and thick at the same time, like maple syrup, like someone condensed 2 bottles of...
Like a good glass of Kool-Aid.
Fundy into a single glass. Now, I'm assuming this is a common mistake for migrants to make the move to the UK, but squash refers to not only the drink you make with squash, but also squash. So it's a bottle of concentrated sugar and fruit syrup.
Yeah, y'all have sent us a couple of those. I didn't know that's what it was called. That might be like the brand or something. I think everyone we've ever got is called like Robinson's or something. But yeah, it's like the drink concentrate. That is something we don't really have here in America. Like we have like lemon juice and stuff, but you're not gonna buy that to like add the water to drink it. Usually if you're gonna get like an orange or a lemonade flavor packet, that's what it's gonna be, a flavor packet. Like just a little powder thing you put in your water bottle and then you drink it. So yeah, we don't really have just like the concentrate stuff.
That you mix.
It is pretty good though. It's actually really good.
Like 5, 6, 7 parts water, but it's also the drink that you mix together. So how was I to know I was supposed to mix, all right? You don't think someone says they drink a drink and you're supposed to like read the instructions that say mix it with things. So yeah, I drank the double concentration Robinsons. It was not nice.
Hey, we tried that too. It wasn't it wasn't fun.
The one I just picked up from the local store, it's called Ribena.
Is that Blackcurrant? Ooh.
And I will be honest, it's not bad. I personally just really enjoy water. I like water's my favorite drink. I know that's super lame, but also
same.
So it's the best drink. So what's wrong with you if you don't like water? But this, a small amount of this really just, it gives this a nice kick. And from what I've seen, this isn't too unhealthy. So I mean, I can see the appeal of it, especially if you've got kids and they're like, "Mommy, I want to drink soda." And you're like, "Sorry, I consider that a form of abuse." I suppose this is actually a healthy compromise. But this isn't just any ordinary squash. This is the most popular flavor of it. And in fact, one of the most popular fruity flavors in all of Britain that is practically non-existent in the States.
That is true. We don't have blackcurrant.
And that, of course, is blackcurrant.
Yeah.
Unless you've moved countries like I have, you'll never really understand the confusion that comes from seeing and hearing something all around you that seems so incredibly commonplace that you begin to question whether or not it also existed where you're from and maybe you were just living under some sort of rock. But no.
We have tried it. Y'all sent us that same exact thing that he has, and it's really good. Blackcurrant is really good. I wish we did have it.
Brits just love blackcurrants, and they use the flavor in everything. Pies, jams, drinks, medicines, Skittles. Even the purple Skittle is actually blackcurrant flavor, which is such a shame. Because blackcurrant is just so mid. I'm sorry, but it's just not that good. Now,
What? Did he not just say it was good? What? Nah. Blackcurrant's fire. Like, I wish everything that was great over here was blackcurrant. Like, it's so much better.
Some of these on my list, you might say, "Hey, I know some Americans with wellies," or "Hey, I actually knew a few Americans that had hot water bottles." But blackcurrant is almost completely unknown to Americans, with less than 0.1% of Americans having even had a blackcurrant in their lives. I might actually...
And that's probably really specific. Like, I've never had the actual berry, but I've had the flavor stuff of it, you know?
Make an entire extra video about this topic because I find it so interesting, and I think you will too. But spoiler alert, basically blackcurrants were banned in the States for many, many years, and so we found something better, the grape, okay? We have grape flavored things, and
brother, no. I mean, I do like a grape juice, okay? I do. But compared to the blackcurrant, it's not as good. It's really not.
Grapes are delicious. Obviously, grapes exist in the UK too, but not really the grape flavor. You cannot find many grape flavored things here.
And like when it comes to the actual fruit, I like green grapes more than purple grapes. I don't know what's the difference, but the green grapes are better to me. But I've also never had the actual blackcurrant berry, so I can't compare those.
It's been replaced with a worse fruit, the blackcurrant. If you never have had grape jelly before, you're missing out. Sadly, every UK supermarket I've ever been to, they got strawberry jam, they got raspberry jam, they don't have any grape jelly. I don't know why I said it like that, but I just miss grape jelly so much. It's just got a specific flavor that's so nice. Grape soda, grape jelly, the grape skittle. You guys don't know what you're missing out on, all right? Think about it like this. If you like wine, that's made out of grapes, right? You'd probably like grape flavors too, and you'd switch to being on Team Grape-ab.
No. Wine, dude. That's the one thing I can't get behind. Anna loves wine. I can't do it. Wine is the worst version of a grape. Like, well, you take the absolute worst way to make a grape into something, it's gonna be wine. Anna has an entire jar that, again, y'all sent us, of blackcurrant jam in the fridge right now that she eats every morning on a piece of toast. That is her breakfast every morning. She loves it. So it really depends who you are, of course. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm taking blackcurrant over grape. I really am.
God, that was a bad pun. I just plug them in where they don't fit. Now, speaking of switching and plugs, I'm really trying with these segues, guys. We all know that British electrical plugs are superior as a feat of engineering.
They are. We did a whole reaction. They are. There's no debate. They really are.
Prevent shocks. I couldn't tell you the amount of times that I was shocked as a child. Physically shocked by unplugging or plugging in my Nintendo and whatnot. I could.
We just used to stick stuff in the outlets just to get shocked, so. I never said I was the smartest, okay?
Like at least 4 times, but I remember each of those times because I'm in formative years and I learned very early on to be very afraid of outlets. It was genuinely scary, and that's pretty much not a thing here due to how British plugs are designed. They're like butterscotch in that they're always grounded. When I told this story to my friend Luke, he looked at me like I had 3 heads and went, how is that supposed to be a shared experience? I've never been shocked. So kids here, they get to have safe outlets. Lucky you. But what you might not know is those incredibly commonplace switches next to every single British outlet to allow you to cut off power specifically to that single appliance are practically non-existent in the US.
Yeah, no, I've never seen them. I'm sure you could get them, but I have never personally seen them. That's something I wish we did have it. Even though I've said it before, I do feel like I would forget all the time to flip it back on. It's so much safer. It is so much safer.
Another reason to fear American electronics. Now you might think having switches on outlets is a little bit extra, but there are 3 big perks to this. 1, it's nice to have another way to turn off an appliance.
Yeah.
Extra ways to control your home is surely going to be a good idea, right? 2, a lot of appliances these days, even when you have them powered off, still use a small amount of energy. For instance, all the smart lights I have in my house, they're always listening, you know, whether I tell them to turn off and whatnot. So cutting the power at the outlet, if that's what you're into, would save you a little bit of energy at least, especially during cozy lives. But the biggest reason they're mandatory in the UK is for how much safer they make plugging things in. In America, when you plug a plug-in to a powered-on outlet, as the pins get closer to where you're connecting to, you may have some electricity jumping out or arcing to connect to the pins, and other times, you hear that terrifying crackle sound as things connect. I've definitely had more than one outlet in the—
I've lived in some houses where as you're going to plug it in, sparks start flying out of the actual holes. Like, now granted, those were some really beat up old houses, but I've seen it happen. I have seen it. So yeah, they're kind of sketchy.
In the States that ended up burned like this. But if the US kept their same plug style and everything else, but added only switches to the outlets, it would pretty much solve that problem. If the outlet is powered off when you plug in, there's no current to leap to your pins. Then you simply turn on the power, boop, with the switch, and everything's nice and snug.
Yeah.
No arcing. Isn't that nice? Now, luckily for us in the UK, that is never really needed for that safety precaution because there's already 2 other safety precautions in place, such as having the ground pin mandatory in all British plugs and having it be a little longer so when you are plugging it in, it's always grounded. Also, insulation on the upper half of the plug. There's so many good perks to the British plug. This is one of those things where I'm just surprised that at least in the US, they don't just adopt one extra thing. Like,
for real, like, it's so good. Why is everybody not doing it, you know?
Just for safety. Plus, in the event that something goes horribly wrong and maybe someone is getting shocked from their wire, well, all you have to do is flip the switch and they're fine. As opposed to having someone pull out the wire that's currently causing shocks, not a good idea. Or, I guess, running to turn it off at the mains, which, judging from the size of most American homes, by the time you come back, that person has been electrocuted. So, it just makes sense to add switches to outlets. Now, as an added little fact, in England and Wales, roughly 7 people die per year due to electrocution in a domestic setting. Whereas
that's not bad at all.
in the US, that number is dwarfed by children alone dying from shocks. Like I said, it is very much a standard American experience to be shocked as a child. Eventually you realize maybe don't stick a fork in there. Also, I do just want to...
Yeah, or a paper clip, or a thumbtack. I've even had like lead pencils shock me. Like, listen, again, not the smartest.
Point out that I'm not an electrician. I know being on YouTube, people expect you to like, know everything. I do not. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So there will probably be someone much smarter than me in the comments that's an electrician, what do they call him here? A Sparky, who's gonna give you a lot of fun facts. So check the...
Wait a minute, is that the actual title? Dude. That is so much better than the electrician. A Sparky? That's a job I want.
Comment section if I've said something silly. But where exactly is my comment section anyway?
It's underneath you.
Oh, it's under me. Thanks. Well, in America, that sort of crowd involvement where you break the fourth wall in a bit is not really something that is done ever except in like Dora the Explorer. You know, like, hey, ¿dónde estás?
I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map. Swipe or no swipe. I love Dora, I really do.
Swipe, cerca del lago. Gracias, está allí. Yes, my Spanish is coming along okay. Thanks for asking, Dora. But besides Dora, it's really not a thing. However, over here, Brits absolutely love their pantomimes, or pantos, as they like to call them, which are really, really popular during the Christmas period. And if you thought Dora the Explorer was just some sort of fun show for children, you'd be surprised. Adults here absolutely get super involved in the pantos as well. I've seen...
Dude, I love Dora. Dora's fire.
a little panto at Kew Gardens once, and it involved a fairy, I think. In fact, I think most traditionally are based on old children's stories, but simply put, it's a performance where the cast are like, "What?" And the crowd is like, "He's right there," or "He's behind you. It's on your dress."
Yeah.
Something like that. If I said something like, "You all subscribe to my YouTube channel," you'd say,
Oh, no, we don't.
Damn, I mean, I was hoping for, yes, we do. But I appreciate the reality check, that's fine. Now, I can see the appeal of being more involved in a show, but they're okay. Maybe it's because I've never been to like a real one. If you have any good recommendations for ones in London.
I feel like, I mean, as long as you're not doing it just like all the time, I think it'd be cool to like be involved a little bit. But if it's like every 2 seconds, it's like, okay, what are we doing here, you know?
I'd be open to hearing, but if you try explaining the concept of a pantomime to an American, they'll probably just look at you like you've got 3 heads, as pantomime in American English is pretty much, gonna be a silent performance with mimes. At least that's what I would have thought it would be. Whereas it's quite literally the opposite of a silent performance, and assumably the American will probably also bring up Dora the Explorer. She's just that super cool explorador.
But alright guys, that is going to do it for 7 British things we don't have in America. Some of those, like, it really depends on where you're at in America. He really lost me with the blackcurrant thing. Listen, it's good. It really is. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. If y'all want to see more reactions like this, let me know by hitting that like button. Again, y'all go check out the new video over on Anna and JT. We're super excited about it, and we really think y'all are going to really enjoy it. So y'all go check that out. Link down in the description. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you go out today. Spread love, spread kindness. Do something nice on my day. I love you guys so much. I really do. JTReacts, I'm out. Peace.